They say diamonds are a girl's best friend. But who can afford diamonds? So today I'm going to show you how I make a gemstone out of this ugly old rock. And I think it's better than diamonds. Hi everybody, it's Kate from Katie Did Rocks, and if you've watched me before, you know what this is. This is a Montana moss agate. This really doesn't look like very much, does it? But if you look at it closely, you'll see that it has a lot of possibilities. Montana moss agates are chalcedony, formed in pockets of lava when it flowed from the volcanoes that ran for 150 miles along the edge of Yellowstone National Park. Today they're found along the Yellowstone River, and they're very popular to collect, and I'm going to show you why. Trying to decide which way to cut this is a trick. This has a really interesting inclusion, which is like dark stuff inside of the light stuff, but it also has here a hint of an actual mossy green color, and that's really unusual for Montana moss agates. So I think, despite this tempting blotch here, I think I'm going to start cutting from this edge. This is my slab saw. It is a 16-inch slab saw that my father built in 1972 from a kit, and it's still ticking. I've cut many rocks on this, and now we're going to cut another. The first trick is to get the stone snugged up in these plywood plates. This is a vise that actually gets tightened up here. These pieces of plywood are so old and so soaked with oil that they're practically rubbery, and so it's pretty easy to tighten things down. One of the benefits of having a very old machine. So you can see I have the stone right up against this blade. This is an MK301 diamond blade, and it's going to cut through this rock like it's cheese. Taking a peek at the first slab is always a little bit like Christmas morning. What are we gonna get? Oh yeah, it's got that green plume in there that I was hoping for. Oh, this is gonna be good. Montana moss agates, and agates in general, are considered semi-precious. Woohoo! Wow! Are considered semi-precious gemstones, and you can see why. Oh, look at the feathery plumes, and wow. All right, I think we'll take at least one more slab. Next step is to use this template to mark where you want to cut the stone. This one has some edges over here that you can see they go in a little ways. So we're gonna go right in the center of the stone. Oh, this is gonna be so pretty. One super cool thing about Montana agates is that their inclusions are dimensional. So it goes all the way through the whole rock. And what that means is as you carve away, the colors come out 3D, and it's just a really deep and beautiful rock. The green in these slabs comes from copper, which is pretty unusual for Montana agates. You'll also see manganese and iron. This one looks kind of like a phoenix. See, there's the head and the wings rising out of, well, that's not really flames, but it could be green flames. The problem is that when they get this big, it becomes very difficult to make them evenly polished. But I think I'm going to give it a try because that is just so cool. This is my trim saw, and this is where we're going to start the process of making the rock slabs into beautiful polished stones. If you're worried about my fingers, don't be alarmed. That blade really can't cut fingers unless you try really hard. I'm guessing that the sparks you're seeing here are a result of the copper reacting with the blade, because this is really not what usually happens. Okay, now on to the polishing. This is the first step towards creating a beautiful gemstone after you cut it. This is my Cat King polisher grinder, and we're going to start on the 80 grit stone and then move on down to smooth it out as we go. Let's get started. These wheels are embedded with diamonds, which allows me to grind even hard rocks like Montana moss agate. Diamonds have a Mohs hardness of 10, agates approximately 7. Okay, after a long time on the grinding wheel, you can still see a flat spot right up on top here. I'm going to put this on a dop stick, which is just a little stick with some deep epoxy wax on it. And we're going to use that to twist it so that we can hopefully get this flat spot nice and smooth, because the flat spot will end up not taking a polish. It's very important to spend as much time as you need to on the coarsest wheel. And yes, that is hard for me. This is my dop pot. It has dop sticks and dop wax, and it melts it and keeps the rock heated so that you can put the wax on safe. Just take the wax, possible, like this. And then the wax is hot, but it's not so hot that it's going to burn your fingers. Manipulate it so that it's all perfectly lovely around the rock. And that way the rock will stay tight and you can twist the rock when you're polishing. On to the second wheel. The second wheel is 250 grit. It gets out scratches that the coarser wheel left behind. Wheel number 3. This is the first resin wheel, on the way to polishing. Instead of diamond-plated metal, the resin wheel has diamonds embedded in the resin. Now on to the polishing. And now for the finishing polish, cerium oxide! Woo! Wow, how shiny that is. And look at how beautiful. This is the setting that I made for this piece. I'm a very big newbie at the whole making of the soldered jewelry thing, but I have so many rocks that I needed to learn how, and so here we are. One of the things that I tried to figure out as I was looking at this piece is what setting it was going to look best in. And I happened to put it on a book that had a black cover, and the dark background really made it look good. And I wanted to use liver of sulfur to make the whole piece of copper black, but of course I don't know where it is. And so I am going to use probably what might be called a cheat. I am going to paint the background with an acrylic paint and leave the rest copper, and that will give us a nice dark background for this gemstone. Okay, here's the finished piece waiting for the stone. You can see that it's got a nice matte black background, so it should make those plumes show up really nice. Well, there you have it. From ugly rock to absolutely beautiful gemstone. The world is a wonderful place. Thanks for coming along. This is Kate from Katie Did. Keep on doing.